Hey there, Bryant Cook, and today we are playing in the Vintage Showcase. In front of you is essentially an updated version of my Eternal Weekend winning list. Alex McKinley played my deck list to a champion. Well, Alex McKinley has a painting now. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. And today we're playing an updated list. It's mostly the same deck, so we're looking to assemble Manifold Key plus Time Vault, wherever that card is. Where's my Time Vault? Here it is, Time Vault. So that's an infinite turns combo that you can have. Urza Saga gets half of that combo being the Manifold Key, while also creating very, very large constructs to win the game with, which is pretty sweet. But the reason that I love this deck is that we are a Tinker deck. This is my favorite vintage card. In fact, Tinker might be in my top 5 cards of all time. I love the card so much. And typically we're getting Bolas' Citadel to play a whole lot of cards for free, which eventually leads into the Manifold Key Time Vault combo that I described earlier. That said, we're also an Underworld Breach deck. We have 2 copies of Underworld Breach, a Lotus Petal, a Black Lotus, and a Brain Freeze also to win the game with, which just helps us beat the blue deck since Underworld Breach is just so good against the blue strategies. In the sideboard, we have Leyline of the Void and Tabernacle for Bazaar decks. This was mostly inspired by my good friend Ryan Walagora. You may know him as Winged Hussar. Ryan talked me out of playing, because a lot of these decks play like 1 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Spell Bomber, like Soul Guide Lanterns and stuff like that. So Ryan was telling me that those cards are all pretty much just traps and that you should be playing Leyline of the Void. And I mean, it's hard to argue that Ryan's wrong. So I made the switch and I've been pretty happy with it. That said, the last few times that I've played Vintage, I haven't done particularly well, but it's no fault of Leyline of the Void. That card has actually just been terrific. Moving on. So we have a Hurkyl's Recall in our main deck that you can see here. We have 3 more on the board for the Shops matchups. I also forgot to mention Pithing Needle is also primarily for the Bazaar decks as well, but you can also board it in against Shops or decks like Bug to name Wasteland, so that way you're able to cast your spells, protect your Urza Sagas, all that good stuff. Speaking of the Bug decks, we have 2 additional copies of Lightning Bolt in the sideboard. We have 1 in the main deck. These are all mainly to answer things like Collector Oof, Archon of whatever it's called, Emiria, I think, that stops you from having fun. That's what these are here for. Blightsteel Colossus is for the Shops matchups, but every once in a while I'll board it in against the Bazaar deck if I'm feeling a little wild. And the Flusterstorm's mostly just to swap with the main deck Hurkyl's Recall against other blue decks. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. This is actually about to start, so I need to run, but I'll see you in match number 1. Let's vintage today. That's what I'm hoping for. It's going to be a long day. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. That said, there's no better way of showing your support than becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks, and we get to keep making combo content. The perks get better and better each level you go up. They also stack. To start off, with our Storm Fan tier, you unlock our private members section of our Discord, which comes with a highlighted user profile and then some awesome badges and emotes for YouTube. Looking for sideboard help? Become a Stormtrooper, our middle tier, for 2 sideboard guides of your deck choice every single month, on top of 50% off donation decks. Did we mention you also get 10% off merchandise from our shop? With our top tier, the Combo Cabal, you get a free donation deck every single month, 15% off merchandise from our shop, early access to private deck lists, and the most valuable perk in my opinion, videos early. That's right, you heard it, early access to all videos. But maybe sweet perk, secret deck list, early access to videos isn't for you, but you'd still like to show your appreciation. Make sure to check out theepicstorm.com/shop for card singles and Storm swag. Please don't forget to use your membership discounts. Finally, if you want to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel, make sure to visit theepicstorm.com/donation decks, where all you have to do is attach your TXT file and pick a donation tier. With our Epic tier, you can even join me in a video to showcase your bold brew in person and explain the ins and outs of your strategy. Card availability won't be an issue due to our new sponsor, Card Hoarder. With Card Hoarder, renting is super easy. If you're looking to get into Magic Online, there isn't a better, more affordable solution than Card Hoarder. Fun fact, you can rent the Epic Storm for 7 tickets a week, which is just a great deal. There are many ways you can support us. Just pick whatever is best for you. In the meantime, let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We are on the draw. We've opened up Force blue card plus Mental Misstep, but the rest of this hand is just terrible. We have to mulligan. Alright, so we can bottom the Sphinx, or we could even keep the Sphinx as a pitch card to the Force, because we're likely to cast this probe, but I think you're actually supposed to... Actually, you could bottom Pyroblast, because I doubt we're ever going to have Pyroblast, but that means that we have to tinker for Citadel. I think I'm okay with that. This is sort of a bold play, but I think if you think of how realistically this game plays out... Okay, well, Sphinx tends to be pretty good against the Bizarre decks. Like, you wouldn't have mana to have Pyroblast up, I guess, is my main point here. Alright, so they're on Hogak, which is a terrific matchup for Sphinx, so I'm a little bit bummed that it didn't pan out, but we'll see how it goes. Okay. Come on, Mana Rock. So I'm going to probe and hope to rip a Mox here. Did not happen. Force of Vigor, Wasteland. I think I'm just gonna play this top. Alright, so we're taking at least 5 here, plus the fetch. So even if we do resolve Tinker for Citadel, we'll be starting the Citadel at 12. They discarded Bloodghast, Wasteland, Hogak. Alright, so we know 2 of their last 3. Stitcher Supplier. So now we know all of them. So I don't have to play around the Force of Vigor anymore. I could force this. I just don't know if that's actually a good play or not. I think we're going to let it go. I know it seems crazy because they can put Hogak into play, but if you think about how this game plays out, if I win this game, this Hogak's never going to matter. It really depends on our Citadel flip, so if I force here, I'm just giving away an extra life for no reason. Alright, so we take 5. Okay. Let's see if I can top into something good here. I need a land or a mana source. Top. Okay. I mean, I'll obviously take that. Alright, so we're at 12 life, and we're about to tinker for Citadel, with the top already in play. And if we hit a blue mana source, I can Mystical Teaching, or Mystical Tutor for Time Walk. Alright, so we'll go to 11, draw a card, and then replay the top. We've already played a land, so that's off the table. There are Sapphires in the graveyard, so our blue sources to hit here are really just Lotus Petal, Black Lotus. And I think that might be it. Let's kill Basking Rootwall, I guess. Ding! That was good. Okay, so... let's go to 6 life, and I'm going to go get like Ancestral Recall here. I could also just get Brain Freeze, so that way if I find Underworld Breach, we just win. But I think I'm going to do Ancestral. Alright, let's Ancestral. There's our Breach. I think that's a win. So we go to 4 here. And now I can Merchant Scroll for Brain Freeze, and then that should lock it up. Get rid of the Bolt, I guess, and the Tinker. Go get Brain Freeze. Ding. Okay, now we have the Underworld Breach loop with Black Lotus. All right. So, all right, our opponent just conceded. But I was about to say there's a few ways that we could actually approach how to win from here. The first is Key Vault. Because Key Vault... okay, so this is a weird way of thinking, but... So, Bizarre decks, it's pretty unlikely because we're not facing Dredge. But what if our opponent is playing something really strange and they have Creeping Chill in their deck? Or Crippling Chill, whatever it's called. So we mill those, we lose the game. Alternatively, you could just put Key Vault into play and eventually attack them to death with a bunch of Saga tokens. That said, we only have one card left in deck because I brain freeze myself too much, so that wasn't actually on the table, so we had to brain freeze them out. Another way that we could have won was if I didn't escape away Lightning Bolt, we could have Lightning Bolted them a whole bunch. But it doesn't matter, our opponent conceded. I probably would have taken the brain freeze route for time's sake, but just wanted to share that. Okay, so Tabernacle's pretty good here. I do like Needle, and then the Leyline of the Void. In the past, I used to board in Blightsteel in this matchup, but I'm not sure if it's a card I actually want. Don't want the Hercules. I don't think it's actually that good. Nurse, I can get out of here. Flusterstorm counters Force of Vigor, so it might seem like a terrible card in the matchup, but it's secretly fine. Mental Misstep. A lot of these lists board into, what is it called? Deafening Silence. So it's a way of beating Deafening Silence, but in general, I'm not in love with it. It also had Stitcher Supplier, so it's fine, but it's just not terrific. You can definitely board up on Lightning Bolts for possible Collector Roofs. That is an option here. I wonder if I should swap the Citadel and the Blightsteel. I'm down to 1 minute. I still have to figure out 4 cuts. I don't know. I just don't know. But I do know that they board into triple Beseiju, so you could just board out the Breach package. Let's try that for game 2 since I'm low on time and I'm not sure what else I should be doing here. Let's try this out. Maybe if I didn't spend a minute narrating my plays. And holy moly, is this hand good. Keep. Alright, they've taken a mulligan. Wow, what a hand. This is vintage for you. You're definitely getting what you clicked on the video for. Windswept Heath. Is it a Savannah? Scrubland. And there's the Silence. Okay, so that makes this hand obviously a little bit worse. A little bit afraid here of Force of Vigor. I think I'm supposed to just preordain. Keep the island. And pass the turn. I don't want to just like play out Black Lotus into a possible Force of Vigor. So that's why I'm playing this a little bit more slowly. And they kept this hand on the back of Deafening Silence, and we can beat that eventually. Let's see what they're working with here. Double Force of Vigor. They chose not to play a Stitcher Supplier there, which is sort of interesting to me. So I imagine they're going to Force of Vigor the Leyline. And they pitched Hogak. Okay. We're fine with that. And there's a Supplier. Force of Vigor, Deafening Silence. Draw. Lightning Bolt. I think I'm just going to play this cautiously and take our time. There's this Saga. Is land number 3. I think the problem is that we know that they have another Force of Vigor. But I'll keep it anyway. Are they going to Vigor my Saga? And they do, pitching another Force of Vigor, so they're down to a lone Stitcher Supplier in hand. So if they mill a Hogak here, I can't actually respond and before they could play the Hogak, so I'm supposed to Lightning Bolt first. Just because if they mill Hogak on the first 3, they could cast it before. And that was a really good mill for me. Their deck has a lot of hate in it. Alright, so I think this turn we're probably just going to play like Mana Crypt, so that way we can get to Tinker on the following turn. Okay. This game was way less exciting than it could have been, but I'll take the position that we're in at the moment. Okay, so we're falling to 19. Land number 2. And Deathray Shaman. You got it. Okay, so we'll flip for the Mana Crypt. Tails never fails or something like that, right? That's what the kids say. And let's go put a Blightsteel into play. You could get Sphinx, but a lot of these sideboards do have a few copies of Boseiju in it. So I think it's a little bit risky to potentially allow the opponent to come back in when we can force them to be on chump blocking duty. Especially when they're hellbent and they don't have a whole lot going on. Nice Deafening Silence. I guess you could actually Needle Boseiju. That's something you could do as well. And our opponent just concedes. So that is match number 1. I hope you enjoyed it. There's a lot of people in this event. Let's check that out real quick. So 140. So this event is 8 rounds of Magic. So 7 more left to go. Yikes. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. It's going to be a long day. Stick around. I don't know. Whatever. Do what you want. But hopefully I'll see you in match number 2. Match number 2, we're on the play. Let's see what we can do here. I have no idea what our opponent's playing, by the way. So this is a turn 2 Narset, but we have some interaction. Sign me up. I'm in. All right, Delta, Mox Jet. And let's just pass the turn. Going to second main phase and just passing. Are you on Dredge? Bristlebrand. That's interesting. Are they on like Black Red Reanimator and Vintage? I'm not quite sure. Could just be Oath. I mean, I'm gonna try to slam Narset here. Wow, Narset just resolved. I can't believe that. I heard Ancestral Recall is pretty good, so we'll take that. Did they mean to mulligan and didn't? Like, what's going on here? So they are on Black Red Reanimator in Vintage. Be interesting what the pick is. It's going to be Misstep or Ancestral, and I'm not sure which one. If they have a Dark Ritual play, it's going to be Misstep. And if they don't, I see them taking the Ancestral, and it turns out they don't have Dark Ritual. Drawing the Sphinx was not ideal. That said, it's not like this is a matchup where I really want to be putting Sphinx onto the battlefield anyway. Well, I'm going to misstep that. I mean, they could have just taken the misstep if this was their line. I guess they have double reanimate? Okay. Let's see if Narset can get us out of this. I just bottomed a breach on the previous Narset activation. Draw. Demonic Tutor. Huh? That's a pretty good one. Let's start up with the Narset. Alright, so I think we have a win here. Well, most of a win, I should say. So we're going to Demonic Tutor here for a Time Walk. And then upkeep Vampiric Tutor. Alright, Time Walk. Alright, so we have 5 cards in graveyard. So if I Vampiric Tutor for Breach, it doesn't really do anything. But what I could do is just get Tinker, and then Tinker for Citadel. I think that's the play. Alright, let's Tinker. Land, Lotus Petal. And another land. Damn. That's not good for us. Not good whatsoever. We have to pass here. I mean, that was my shot at a winning line. We could just be dead to the Griselbrand now because the Griselbrand's going to attack the Narset. And this is vintage, so they could be playing like a Tendrils in their list because there's so many powerful like artifact mana. So we could just be dead. I don't know if they are playing Tendrils or not. But they get to draw 21 cards here. They could also just be playing blue, and if they are, they could Time Walk after discarding my Pyroblast. Alright, they're going to 6. They've drawn 21 cards. Mox Jet. There's Dark Ritual. Lotus Petal. And Entomb. They might have an answer to our Citadel, and if that's the case, we're just dead. Iona. It's annoying. I don't know if I can actually beat an Iona. I guess it's like theoretically possible for me to just flip like Saga and or Key Vault, I mean, but it's gonna be really difficult to beat this. Alright, they need blue, obviously. Okay. I guess if I revealed Breach to Citadel, I could assemble Key Vault with double Demonic Tutor. And they're casting Demonic. I've been unmasked. Oh, they're unmasking themselves. I see. Chancellor, okay. So they might just be mono black. Yeah, I don't think I can beat Chancellor plus Iona. I needed to flip better on her Citadel. I had a potential to win there, and I just didn't. Draw, so we're drawing... Okay. I can fetch to shuffle, but I can't cast the probe due to the Iona. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. Play the Soul Ring. Oh, we could actually do this. Alright, so it's Demonic Tutor. Yes, we'll pay the 1. Oh, and then I can Vamp Tutor. I messed this up. I should have Vamp Tutored twice. I might have just punted this away. Let's think about this. So if I get Black Lotus... Okay, that's how we do it. I get Black Lotus. And I'll sack this Petal. Okay, this is how we win. Jet, Tinker, Narset. So let's go get Time Vault. Play Time Vault. Wait, I'm actually 1 mana short still. Can I still win? I don't know. So if I escape Lotus, we have 6 cards. I don't think this works. So I remove these 3, play Lotus. Yeah, I'm 1 card short. Yeah, me casting Demonic first, I think might have cost me this game. Alright, let's just do what I can, I guess. I can just use the mana floating, it doesn't really matter. So I can Pyroblast and not pay. That is an option I have here. Okay, this is going to do it. I think. Oh no, I'm still 1 mana short. I'm still 1 short. Because I can pay for the Vamp, but I can't pay for the key. So maybe the Demonic line didn't work in hindsight. Or maybe I was supposed to get like Mana Crypt there and then pray to blind flip the 1 of key. I I feel like I might have thrown this one with the demonic, but I'd have to go back and check the math. I just didn't see the vamp line until it was too late. And we don't have a land drop here. All right, that was actually a really close one. I'm a little... I've already said it 4 times now, but I wonder if I had seen the key line, if it would have mattered earlier. Or if getting... Or maybe I could have like triple vamped. So I would have gone vamp for Lotus, vamp for Key Vault. Like that could have been a line. And I just missed that. Okay, so we're definitely bringing in the ley lines here. Needle's fine because we can name Gristlebrand. Fluster seems okay. Let's get rid of this Hercules. So we're at 61 at the moment. Maybe we don't need 3 Needle. Like, it is kind of a lot. Let's try this out. That was a bummer. I think Vamp for Lotus, Vamp for Key, and then Vault might have actually have done it. Damn. Okay, no more dwelling on that. It's time to win. Yeah, I'll keep this. It's easy to look at that stuff in hindsight and see the line, especially when you're narrating your plays. And I'm not just trying to make excuses, I'm trying to tell you how it actually is. It's not always easy to play and narrate at the same time. I usually do fairly well, but every once in a while, it really does get me. Leyline on the battlefield. Opponent reveals Chancellor the Annex. Let's play our Ruby. Pass the turn. Grief, pitching Dark Ritual. So I think I'm going to force this because if I draw a land for turn, we have Mystical for Tinker, and if I don't draw a land, we can Mystical Ancestral. And it's not like this Preordain is actually any good anyway. Okay, and they're passing the turn. Draw. Okay, so this also sets up Tinker next turn. Okay, opponent has 4 cards in hand. I don't know what this deck play. Like, I don't even know if they're mono black. They could have a splash color. I don't know. Let's grab Tinker, though. And I think I'm going to sacrifice the Ruby here. So that resolved. How about another Leyline of the Void? Oh no, I don't need this many. We actually have to pass. Maybe I shouldn't have played both. I don't know. Well, we have a lot of Black Devotion at the moment. I guess that's a truth that you cannot deny. You will get my Underworld Breach. Okay, they have 2 cards in hand. Draw. Let's play Key down to 10 life. Saga. And pass the turn. We cannot hardcast Force here. We don't have blue. And these ley lines appear to be doing work. Draw. Saga goes up to 2. We'll play a Saga. Oh, hey, Ancestral. What's up? Target myself. Play Needle. Let's see if they have any color splashes here. So they have white, which means they might have something like Serenity in their deck. And there's red. Okay. Bristlebrand. We're going to pass the turn and then make a construct on their end step. You got it. Okay. Let's make a construct. Draw, so we're drawing Force of Will. We're about to lose this Saga, so we're going to make another construct here. And then search our library. We can go get Top. Might as well play this Needle. Besiege you. Realistically, they're not playing beside you, but it's pretty free to name it. We'll use key to untap the Soul Ring. Make another construct. And we actually have 10 permanents here for the Citadel, but I don't need to make that play. So I'm just going to pass the turn. And the opponent concedes, we're going to game 3. So they know about the ley lines now. You could board in Tabernacle, but I'm not sure if it's actually something we want to do. Because if you think about how the average game will play out, they will have a land. So they should be able to just pay the tax every single turn. So I'm not in love with that play. I think that we should just submit. So they have Thoughtseize, Unmask, and Grief in their deck. That's a lot of discard. But the nice thing about Leyline, unlike those other effects like Soul Guide Lantern or Spell Bombs or whatever, is the Leyline comes down before any of that and gets underneath the Chancellor of the Annex tax. So it evades a lot of disruption. Game 3 against a Reanimator. Here we've opened up Black Lotus and Lotus Petal, which is fine, but I did just mention how our opponent has Thoughtseize, Grief, and Unmask. What does this hand even do? So let's assume our opponent doesn't have Chancellor of the Annex and doesn't have any discard. What does this hand do? Honestly, I'm not even sure. Like, you ponder a few times, like, this is not a keep. So this has Force Fluster, but once again, I don't know what this hand actually does. I think we're supposed to just mulligan to Leyline. This is a really good 5. Maybe we keep this. Alright, so I know that, like I just mentioned, mulliganing to Leyline, but they likely have answers in their deck. I mean, they just saw it in game 2. Really? Okay. Another Force is good. Let's play Jet and pass. Okay, Bloodstained Mire. They might have kept a hand with an answer to Leyline in it. We're gonna let Dark Ritual go. It's 5 mana. It's a lot. You're gonna hardcast Gristlebrand? I think they're going to do it. This is a hardcast Gristlebrand, I think. Alright, they did it. They hardcast Gristlebrand. So they could have something like Veil of Summer in hand, which would be kind of wild. Okay, so they have 2 cards. We're gonna Force Pitch Force. And they could have like Reanimate here. And they don't. So I'm gonna cast Ancestral. Okay, that's good. Draw. I could hardcast Leyline, but the Gristle's already in the graveyard. I think I'm supposed to just pass here. And hold up Fluster. Okay, let's go get an Underground Sea. Draw. Alright, so I can play Leyline now. I mean, it's a little bit late. They still have Gristlebrand in the yard. But it might stop another creature from something, or like a Faithless Looting. Okay, so this is going to be card number 4. So I can now escape an Ancestral. And honestly, I think that's the play here, is I'm just going to cast Ancestral Recall. Come on, be good to me, deck. 3 new cards. Black Lotus is a good one, okay. Let's Preordain. Did we just win? So I can play Lotus for Brain Freeze. And yeah, we just won with Fluster backup. Okay, let's get Brain Freeze. Wow. Can't believe we pulled this off. Mulligan to 5 against Reanimator. Okay, so I'm gonna play Lotus here. Okay, so I'm trying to think of ways we could possibly lose this, and all I could think of was Beseiju. Alright, our opponent just said GG's. So I was going to play around Beseiju there by casting Key Vault from the graveyard before continuing to win. But we got it. Even with my possible misplay in game 1, we pulled it out, and we are now 2-0. If you haven't joined them already, I would recommend opening up our description down below and joining our 7 social media networks. They're each great in their own way, but I would strongly suggest joining our Discord server. In there, you will find others just like you looking to improve their Storm game and grow as a combo community. If you're a member of our YouTube channel, you should sync your account to Discord to unlock our private member section that has the latest and greatest deck lists, concepts, and much, much more. Let's get back to comboing out. Alright, match number 3, and we were facing Vintage Legend Discover N. I actually faced them in Pauper recently, and they were on Azorius Familiars there. But this is their bread and butter. Vintage is their format. They're a Doomsday specialist. And while earlier I talked about getting vintaged, well, this is a hand that we have that, well, gets vintaged. And by that I mean I don't want to be the one getting vintaged. I mean, we have turn 1 Key Vault combo with Force Backup. We're going to keep this. All right, Island Ponder. They did not shuffle. Well, we're going to show them our stacked hand. Good luck, Discoveron. If you have a hand that beats this, I will be a little bit sad, but also, like, tip of the cap. Black Lotus. I think I'm supposed to let that go. Like, the Doomsday doesn't actually matter unless they're winning the game. So they're putting the Lotus into the pile. Good to know. I'm trying to figure out what my best draw is here, and I don't actually know the answer. I think it might actually just be like a Mox or something, so that way we can play around days. Because sometimes this deck plays like 2 days in it, and how they could possibly win this is if they have days, and I force the days and then get forced or something like that. So I guess that would be my answer. Okay, Doomsday is resolved in their passing. Draw. We drew a land. So I don't want to show them that we drew the land. There's no need to give them that information. Play Lotus. They're going to force the Lotus. We force back. They had double force? Wow! So we're dead. They opened up a turn 1 with double force. Tip my cap. Congratulations. I was the one who got vintaged. Wow, I can't believe that. So now they just have Ancestral into the wind here. What a hand. Wow. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. Yep. Jeez. They got me. There's nothing I could have done there. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to board in the Fluster. And none of these other cards are actually that good. So you could take out the Hercules here. You could also take out the Bolt. I don't think Bolt is actually that good. I also don't like Sphinx in this matchup. So you could also just like board into Blightsteel. In theory, you could board into Needles and look to like name their fetch lands, but we also have a split on fetch lands. So I don't know if that's actually good. And I feel like Blightsteel probably isn't fast enough here. I don't know. Like, I don't really want Lightning Bolt in my deck. Alright, so I think we're just going to do 2 Bolt. I don't think Blightsteel is actually where we want to be. Let's try this out. Alright, on the play. Sure. Alright. We're going to pass and then in their upkeep cast Ancestral. This plays around Force of Negation. Looks decent so far. I'm gonna let them ponder here. They did not shuffle off the ponder. Lurrus, Portent. Yeah, I always find it strange, the cards that vintage players play, because all the restricted cards, like Portent is somehow vintage playable. Like, I'd probably play Night's Whisper before I ever played Portent, although Discover N is playing a list with a bunch of forces, important pitches to force, so like, I get it. It's just like, this card's sort of embarrassing, in my opinion. Okay, so they're drawing off their Portent, now we take our turn. Another Fluster. I'm gonna preordain. I think we just bottom both of these. Mox. Tinker, huh? I think I just discard the scroll. Like, scroll doesn't even have anything good to get anymore. I was actually looking for like a Mox or a land off that preordain, so that way I could slam Narset next turn. But you could just like blind fire off a Misstep, so that way you didn't have to discard. But I think Misstep's worth more than like a Merchant Scroll pitching to force. And another preordain, sure thing. So after this resolves, our opponent will be up to 6 cards. I was thinking about it, and I think our best draw would actually be Black Lotus, so that way they always have it. We could go Narset with double backup. We still have 5 cards in hand. So I could play Narset here, but it could be pretty bad for me if I don't resolve it. I mean, I know that I have double force, but it would give them a window to win. That said, I think I'm supposed to try to capitalize. I'm sort of just hoping that they kept a hand that's like a bunch of Flusterstorms, and then this resolves. Opponent is casting Dig Through Time. I think we just let that go. This seems like one of those traps that they use to like set up a fluster, in my opinion. Like, our sole purpose here should be making sure that Narset resolves. Wow, Narset just resolved. I'm sort of shocked by that. Let's minus the Narset. I think I'm just going to take Jet here. And I could take Fluster. Yeah, I don't know. So by taking Fluster, my thought process here is I have 2 Flusters to pitch to force. I have a Misstep to fight back with. And then on my turn, I can use Narset to dig for another Mox or something. Alright, I'm going to let this Dark Ritual resolve. Okay. And then they have Consultation. And we're going to force will the Consultation. Alright, so they have 2 cards. We just want to find an artifact to pitch to Tinker now. Draw. Alright, Narset. Lotus Petal will do. Okay, and Tinker. Get Citadel. Land for turn. Let's Pyroblast the Oracle to protect our Narset. Cancel. Cancel. Alright, target them, holding priority. Because if I saw like Ancestral here or something, I could... Okay, they're going to concede. So we are going to game 3 now. I'm just going to resubmit. I know that Bolt seems sketchy, but these Doomsday lists, they play a bunch of fetches. They play Probe. I'm going to keep this. But on top of that, they play 4 Street Wraith and Necropotence. Like, maybe you do want the Bolts to be just like random bad blue cards like Sphinx and Hercules for force. But like having Bolts in your deck does give you a little bit of reach. Because like Doomsday is not a deck that's going to respect their life total against us. And this Brain Freeze is actually pretty good. You can use it to deck them. Needle. Let's see if this resolves. Needle's not really a card that I would have liked to have drawn. Demonic Tutor, you got it. All right, opponent has 6 cards in hand. No. Draw. I'm just gonna name Necro here. I could also name Street Wraith, I suppose. Their list has 4 Street Wraiths in it, but I feel like Necro is a card that they might have just gotten off the Demonic Tutor. Ooh, that was almost bad. I feel like I'm probably supposed to name Street Wraith, but I have this gut feeling that they went and got Necro. And they're just passing the turn. Okay. Come on, Saga. Draw. Wow. So that could, in theory, win the game. But we'd have to give up holding up Brain Freeze. Force pitching Oracle will pitch Preordain. And then we have a decision to make on this Brain Freeze, assuming that they counter back. Okay. I'm gonna go for it. They have a force. Oh, geez. Damn. So they still have 4 cards in hand and we're hellbent, and we don't have a key to win with this Time Vault for the rest of the game because it was exiled. Apparently they don't have Doomsday, though. Tinker. Breach doesn't do anything here. Although if it was just countered, I could put key back into play, but we don't have that as an option. Opponent still has 5 cards in hand. Okay. Not giving them an extra turn. Draw. Okay, so Doomsday would put them down to 7. There it is. Or Doomsday puts them to 6 here, my bad. Trying to figure out how I could possibly win this. And I'm coming up short. I don't know what a winning line actually looks like. Alright, so Doomsday's resolved. Black Lotus and Ancestral Recall are not in the pile. Gush has already been exiled, so they built a slow pile here. I do know that they put in Probe, but I don't know any other cards other than that. But I know that Probe is in their pile. Necro is apparently not in their hand, so maybe I should have named Street Wraith with the Needle. They only drew 1 Wraith, though. Force of Will. Force of Will, Force of Will. All 4 forces are in exile. 1 Force of Negation, 2 Force of Negation. All right, I'm going to bolt them. They know my last card is Breach. Alright, so I think like Lotus might be my best draw here. I'm not sure. Because Lotus would allow me to play around like something, I think. I don't know. We only have 1 choice here, and it's to try to bolt them out of the game. Cast Lightning Bolt, target you. I mean, they have to have something here, right? They have 3 cards in hand. We got it! Wow! I can't believe that. Lightning Bolt for the win. Wow! We're 3-0 over Discover End. Let's go! Love to see it. 4th match, we're on the draw. Our opponent revealed a Lurrus, and according to Goldfish, they play mono white aggro, which is really just vintage Death and Taxes. So here we have a hand with Flusterstorm in it, Double Fluster, and Hercules. So this is essentially a mulligan to 4, where we have 3 cards in it that do things, and one of which is a land that doesn't cast anything. So this is a pretty easy mulligan. That's a lot of forces. We could keep this. I just don't think it does anything, so we'll go to 5. Sure. I don't love this hand, but like it can play Magic. Realistically, this probably just isn't a win, and we're gonna go to game 2 shortly. Planes and pass, okay. Draw. Breach. See if we can draw something good off this. Like a Lotus or Brain Freeze might actually... No, Brain Freeze doesn't do it. Never mind. I think we can safely bottom both of these. Mystical gets Tinker for Citadel next turn. That doesn't matter. Okay, so I think we have Citadel. So let's get Tinker. So we could get Sphinx here, but the deck plays 4 main deck copies of Path to Exile. So I don't know if that's a play we really want to make here. Can't. Oh, no, cancel, cancel, cancel. Undo. So I'm just trying to think here. I could go Breach. I could play Breach, buy back Petal. So sack Petal. That only puts me up to 4. That doesn't actually do it. Okay, I just wanted to count and make sure. So we'll sack the Emerald here and put Citadel into play. And unfortunately, Flusterstorm is not good enough. A lot of flusters. Oh, we just lost the game. I have 1 Lightning Bolt in my deck that we could in theory draw, but we know that we're drawing Flusterstorm. Okay, so I guess I could actually play Breach here. And I could go Breach Petal for Mystical for Bolt. Does that work? And I just showed them that I was trying to tap a red, which is probably not the best move. So we'd remove Tarn, Preordain, Tinker, play Petal, sack Petal. Then we could sack Petal, Emerald. Yeah, we're short. I have to pass here. It's worth noting that Sphinx would have also have lost to this Relic Order. Another Ghost Quarter. Alright, Thalia's gonna wrap this one up. Let's just go to game 2. Not ideal. Alright, so let's bring in Needles, Lightning Bolt. I definitely don't want these Flusters in my deck, and I don't want the Pyroblast, so those are the first things I can leave. That brings us down to 59 already, so I guess it's like sort of free to bring in the Tabernacles just to slow them down. Is there any other card we really don't want here? And I guess, like, I'd rather have Blightsteel in my deck than the Sphinx, just because it's a higher roll to win the game. You probably cut this Hercules. Yeah, according to this, they don't even play any Artifact Hate, so Hercules is dead. Let's try this out. Game 2 on the play. So this is just a turn 2 win. Keep. Okay, so they do have Wasteland in their deck, but Wasteland honestly doesn't matter, but I guess it's like sort of free to play around it here. Grab the island, Mox Jet, Time Vault, Lotus, pass the turn. Upkeep, we can vamp for the, what is it called? Manifold Key to take infinite turns. Oh. Well then. That's really obnoxious. Guess I have to vamp here. The question is, what do I get? If I get Tabernacle, it's going to answer whatever creature they play, unless that they have a land. I feel like the answer might just be like Ancestral, but then I get punished if they get, or if they play the Spirit of the Labyrinth. Tinker requires me to draw a land. I think it's just supposed to be ancestral. Sort of, I don't have any answers to Stony Silence in my 75. Alright, so they had a really good opener. That's annoying. Okay. Yep. Draw. Ancestral Recall. That was really good, actually. So we're going to take 2, go to 15. Draw. I'm going to preordain first, I guess. We can bottom both of these. Alright, pass the turn. I think I'm going to force this. Well, honestly, should I? I don't know if it actually matters. Like, I guess it's a creature that attacks me, but it's only going to stop the search on something that doesn't matter. I guess it stops me from, like, getting a needle. I only have 1 card in hand. Alright, I'm just gonna do it. Because then it makes all their ghost quarters and stuff better. Draw. Saga moves up to 2. So now they can put Lurrus to hand. Ooh. Lumeric Aspirant was really good here because now this Relic Quarter is a 3/3. Okay, so I'm just going to make this now, but it's only going to be a 2/2, which is kind of a pain. Alright, so we'll take a draw here. Land. Alright, let's make another construct. Maybe we just get, like, Needle. And then we'll name Caracas. And pass the turn. So now the Leonin becomes a 4/4. Come on, deck. Draw. Okay, so they can play Lurrus next turn. I think I'm just supposed to pass here. That's a Lurrus. They're going to make a Lurrus larger. Sort of makes sense. So if I block this, they can then start recasting the Relic Quarter to eat at my Saga tokens. Alright, I think I'm actually going to take it. Maybe I should have been attacking with the constructs. I don't know. Alright, so that at least taxes them a little bit. So if I swing 1, I can turn those into 5/5s. Okay, so they could have sacrificed the Leonin and then replayed it to eat a construct, and they chose not to do that. This is a free block for me because I think I'd have to sacrifice one of these. I guess I wouldn't. Well, I have to block because I die, actually. Okay, so have to pay here. I can't make another construct without sacrificing one, so I might as well pay using the Saga. Draw. I think the best thing I can get is another Needle. We'll name Wasteland, I guess. So the problem here is that I can't swing out without dying. But I can force this on the way back. Really needed to draw Lightning Bolt. And now we're going to force a will this. Going to 4 life. So if I swing out on my next turn, I die on the attack back from the Lurrus, unfortunately. So I really do need to draw Lightning Bolt. We have 3 bolts left in our library. Draw. That's not going to do it. I think I just lost. I mean, I'm supposed to try to make them make the bad block here, but unfortunately, that's just, like, not something reasonable. And now we're just going to die from the Lurrus. And that's going to do it. So we will fall to 3-1. Womp womp. Playing your favorite combo deck in Paper just got so much easier with the Epic Storm Mini Token Pack. You can pick one up at theepicstorm.com/shop for $13. It includes 64 double-sided mini tokens. That's 128 tokens total. And they include 10 black, 10 blue, 10 red, 5 green, 5 white, 3 colorless, 20 storm counters. That means that you can count your way all the way up to 20 for Grape Shot, everyone's favorite Stormwind condition, a Galvanic Relay Exile Indicator, 4 treasure tokens for Strike It Rich, and then 10 Monk tokens for our vintage friends. It also has Slime Time Live, 8th Progenitor Ooze tokens with the power and toughness already built in to make playing in Paper so much easier. No fumbling around with dice, we've got you covered. Make sure to go grab those if you're playing Modern. And then Squirrels versus Goblins, Chatterstorm versus Empty the Warrens, the Battle of the Ages. You definitely need 20 Squirrel tokens and 20 Goblin tokens. You're going to love this mini token pack, I promise. And once again, you can grab that at theepicstorm.com/shop. All right, time for match 5. We're on the draw again. Here we have a hand where we can't actually cast too many of our spells. We can cast top, and the Manifold Key doesn't do anything. I think that this hand's a pretty easy mulligan, in my opinion at least. All right, they've chosen to keep 7. We're going to take a mulligan, and this is a pretty good hand. I think I'm... Wow, this is tough. What do you actually bottom here? Is it the Pedal? Because Vamp Tutor can go get Time Vault. Then you have Tinker. I think it's actually the Pedal. I mean, in theory, you could bottom the Probe, but I'd like the information. Misty Rainforest, okay. Mana Crypt. Top. So this is likely PO or just like the blue Tinker deck. Emerald. Time Walk, okay. Mana Crypt. They're at 16. So they're going to draw up to 3 cards here. Alright, after a moment of thinking, our opponent's finally activating their top. The pace of play here is pretty slow. They're spinning the top. That's probably not a good sign for me. Okay. 2 cards remain. And they're just on classic PO based on the Academy here. So now they're redrawing the top. Well, likely redrawing the top. Demonic Tutor for Tinker. We might have just lost this. Did they get PO? No, it's Tinker. Yeah, their draw was definitely better than mine. And their last card in hand is likely the top, but we'll see. Mystical. They've already used Time Walk. Ancestral Recall. Yeah. They could have Mysticaled for Vamp and gotten top. They chose not to. Black Lotus, top. Okay. So they've got it wrapped up from here, but based on how slowly they're playing, I'm going to make them go through this. Alright, so they've drawn a few cards with the top at this point. Probe, they're at 10. They've replayed top. Okay. Top is going back and forth. Alright, so they've drawn a card and replayed top. Now down to 5 life. Lavinia, how lovely. They exiled their own Mana Crypt with the Prismatic Ending, which is kind of funny. So they're on, what is it called? Esper PO. Okay. Let's cast this probe, I guess. I'm not winning this game, but I want more information out of them. Okay, so no PO in there. This could just be like Esper Tinker, I suppose. They've already played the Ancestral, so I can cross that off. They played Tundra instead of the Saga here. Dig through time. You got it. And now they're activating top to look at the top 3 cards of their library. And this is why I didn't concede. So our opponent theoretically won this game around the 20-minute mark. We're now 5 minutes in, past that, and my life total is still 20. So this is a showcase. You might think like, we don't win by opponent timeout or whatever. We're playing for real prizes here. So if that's not your thing, you're welcome to skip ahead. But I'm going to make my opponent play at a reasonable pace by sitting here. So if I sit here and let them slowly spin their top and figure out how to attack me, and then at the end of game 1, they're at 10 minutes, that forces them to make faster decisions in games 2 and 3. Okay, so I could Ancestral here. We know that they have a Fluster. And their Fluster beats mine. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. That was just kind of stupid. I was like, yeah, I can Fluster their Fluster, but that's not how that works. Too busy narrating, I guess. Let's just play the key here, pass the turn. So now they've played a Saga, so they can actually start trying to win this game. Manifold Key. Yogg-Will. Okay. So they can put together infinite turns here, but I'm going to make them attack me. 6 blue mana. They sacrifice Black Lotus for blue. They should have sacrificed it for black, because Demonic Tutor for Time Vault just wins here. I guess Tinker does it as well. You're going to do that, though. You didn't need to sacrifice the Lotus, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Now we go to our opponent's next turn. There's a construct. Ouch. So I'm going to go to 14. We are not dead quite yet. I mean, like, I've lost this game, yes, but not this turn. It will require another turn for them to attack me for lethal. Alright, so I'm taking 10 here. And our opponents officially used half of their clock in game number 1. Okay, so that was the first game. I was thinking about how we're going to board while I was sitting there losing the game. So we definitely want this Fluster, and we're going to take out the Urkels, wherever it is. But I also don't think we want Sphinx here. It seems kind of not great. But we can bring in Bolt for Lavinia. And then I think we do want to leave the Needle. I used to board out the Needle a lot, but I've had it come up enough times where I think that you're probably supposed to keep it. I just like 2 outs to Lavinia. I think that's going to help. I think 3, you'll end up drawing it a lot, and they might only have 1 Lavinia in their library, so I don't know if it's actually worth boarding in more than that. Game 2, and we're on the play this time. So this is turn 1 Narset, but we don't have force backup. I think I'm just going to go for it. Pearl. Petal. And let's go for that Narset. Blue. There she is. Does she resolve? She does! Woot! Come on, blue card. Well, that's a lot of different blue cards. I think we'll take the Fluster. Underground Sea, Mox. and demonic. Okay. Draw. Well, it's minus the Narset. I could take demonic, but I can't actually cast it, so I'm just going to take the Preordain instead. Another breach. We don't really need that. I think I'm going to bottom this Preordain. It just doesn't do anything meaningful. Alright, I'm going to pass the turn. Time Vault. So the concern with letting this resolve is if they then play Saga, and then in 3 turns they have Key. But I think that's a risk I'm willing to take here. Okay, so that happened. Alright, I'm gonna fetch and then cast Preordain. See what we can draw into. Don't really want either of those. Lotus. So that's actually pretty interesting, because I could find the win-off breach here. Alright, let's try. Okay, so that resolved pretty quickly. Let's play the Lotus. And I'm gonna... how do I want to do this? Alright, let's just cast Preordain. And there's the freeze. That was a lucky hit. I'm not going to pretend that was all skill. Okay. So now we play Lotus. Sacrifice the Lotus, and then we'll target them with Brain Freeze to try to get them to concede because they don't want to show us information. I'd rather not show them any more of my library, so that works for me. So this is going to mill them for 21. Alright, so they have a bunch of endings. Swords to Plowshares. Okay. Brain Freeze them again. This is going to mill 24. We'll target us a couple times, I guess. Opposition Agent and Hull Breacher. So I think I might actually want all of the lightning bolts. Okay. After seeing Hull Breacher and Opposition Agent, like 3 bolt just makes sense to me. Target them. Okay. They have multiple copies of Lavinia too. Target them with Probe. And they had Ancestral Key, Fluster. Okay. So we're just going to pass the turn here and they'll deck. Alright, so I got a little bit of info there. They have double Lavinia, Hull Breacher, Opposition Agent, and a Mentor. Lightning Bolt actually seems like a reasonable choice to bring in the third. So we're going to do that. They also left in Swords to Plowshares, which was a little interesting. So now we have to find room for bolt number 3. And I think, I don't know, I'm considering Needle. I don't think Needle's actually that great here. Plus, like, they're an ending deck. Like, they have a bunch of endings in there. So I'm going to try this out. Game 3. So I have Lotus Narset, but the rest of this hand is not very good. We just have to put that back. This is fine. I think the real problem here is that we don't have anything to protect the Tinker. Or any way of stopping them from, you know, going nuts. Turn 1 Saga. Sure. And they're passing. Alright. Draw. Demonic Tutor. So this is actually a turn 1 Tinker. If we want it. So I think I'm actually just going to go get Force of Will here, and then we have Tinker next turn with Force backup. Alright, Force of Will. Saga goes up to 2. Mox Pearl. Tundra. Makes me nervous about Fluster Storm. Draw. Because, I mean, if I just jam Tinker into Fluster here, it's going to hurt. So I could try to ponder looking for our own Fluster. It might honestly just be the play. Preordain. I guess I'll keep Preordain. Volcanic. Preordain, looking for that fluster. Those are both bad. We're gonna get rid of those. Okay. I'm gonna play the top. Pass the turn. So they could get Needle here and name top. Should I just cash in for a blue card? It doesn't really matter because I'd be redrawing the top on my turn. So I think I'm going to leave it. And they got Black Lotus. Sapphire, still 5 cards in hand, and another Saga. Yikes. That's pretty bad for me. I'm going to force this. Actually, let me draw a card first. Let's pitch Brainstorm, keep the misstep back. If they have a fluster, this is a really juicy fluster target. 3 cards left in hand. I don't think so. What would happen is their Saga turns the 2 constructs into 6/6s. I don't think Tinker for Citadel from I'd have 6 life is going to win the game. All right. Well, oh no, my bad. I'd be at 1 life. I forgot the attack here. So yeah, I think I just lost this. And that's lethal. They got me. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we're going to be 3-2 with 3 rounds remaining in this event. Womp womp. Started out hot and now some cold water to, you know, bring me back to reality. Let's see if I can just win out and maybe top 16. Match 6. Sort of bummed that we're likely dead for top 8, but we're going to keep our head up. If this hand had a single land, I would keep it. So you could hope to high roll and hit a land off this, and then you just have the nuts. But I think you're just supposed to be more disciplined and take a mulligan. So I do know that our opponent typically plays a lot of Dredge. I don't know if that's what they're playing today, but this hand is really slow against Dredge, and I'm not sure if it's good enough. I think you're probably supposed to just go to 5. Okay, so we can bottom the Citadel and Pyroblast. Saga. Jet and pass the turn. They are in fact on the Bizarre deck. Grief. Yeah, I mean, my hand doesn't do anything, so. Preordain down, and they get 2 zombies here. That's a good start. Draw. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to win this. Maybe if I get lucky and draw Tinker. Yeah, I'm just not going to win this. And they know that I have 1/4, so naming Cabal Therapy here, pretty good against my hand. No reason to force here, it just loses a life. We'll just take it. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I think the only chance that I have is if I draw Tinker. Okay, so let's tap this for mana. We're going to get Lotus and then try to Ponder and Spike. Demonic Tutor could do it, I guess. And they have Force. Alright. Cool. So, not looking good for the home team. That's for sure. 3-0 into possibly 0-3 unless I can turn this match around. Okay. We don't want Bolt. I don't even think Pyroblast is that good. I mean, it's fine, but it's not like actually good. I don't know. We're at 68, which is a lot. We can cut the Hercules. That brings us down to 67. I mean, I could just board out the breach stuff again, but I don't know. I feel like Narset's hard to protect, so I don't mind getting rid of that. So we could do this and not have the breach package in our deck, or we can find 3 more cuts. Could cut the pedal for a Pyroblast. Alright, I think I'm okay with trying this. Game 2 versus Dredge. This is essentially a 6-land hand. I'm not keeping that. I think we will try this and bottom the Sphinx. Okay, put the Leyline onto the battlefield. They are a deck where they have Force of Vigor, so this is not guaranteed to stick around. So this could be a turn 2 Tinker, assuming they don't have a Force. I think I'll keep the Mox. I'm not going to play out any Mox in, though, because I don't want 2 things to get blown up by Force of Vigor. Bizarre Baghdad. Hollow one. Alright, so the Tabernacle is going to eat the Hollow one. Preordain. I mean, I'll take a Force. Pass the turn. If we can draw a blue card on our turn, we have Tinker with Force backup. And they are activating Bazaar again. They found the answer to Tabernacle. 3 cards remain in their hand. They discarded a Force, which tells me that they probably have another in their hand. Come on, deck. Blue card. So they're likely going to waste the Tabernacle here, or destroy the Tabernacle here. Or it looks like they're also thinking about just forcing it. So Bizarre Baghdad is the name. And now that we already played out 2 Force of Vigor targets, I'm going to play out this Mox. So by playing our artifacts out here, if I draw a blue card, it allows me to tinker through Mindbreak Trap. Alright, so they have 4 cards in hand. I need to draw a blue card. I don't think it's that tall of an ask. We're at 16. Draw. Another needle. Let's play it. Wasteland. Pass the turn. Opponent is now up to 5 cards. So even if I draw the blue card, they might have double Force. Draw. I think we jam. Let's get rid of the needle on Wasteland. Force pitching Amalgam will force pitching Time Walk. Tinker. And Sphinx. Alright, we are going to game number 3 now. I think I'm just going to resubmit. I was pondering boarding in the Breach combo, but I think it's so unlikely to be effective in this matchup that I just don't think we want it. On the draw versus Dredge is pretty scary. Time for game 3. So we have Tabernacle. We do not have a Leyline. This hand's pretty good, though. I think I actually want to keep this, despite it not having a Leyline in it. Our opponent has taken a mulligan to 6. Okay, they've kept 5. Let's see if we can, you know, do our thing. Bizarre Baghdad and activate. Okay. Triple Dredger. Draw. Pyroblast. Alright, I'm going to play the Sapphire and Preordain, I think. I could also just Brainstorm and then look to shuffle with the Mystical Tutor, which might be better. Alright, our Mox has resolved. I'm going to cast Brainstorm. Wow, that was a very good Brainstorm, but we're going to get rid of this Pyroblast. The Question is, what else do we get rid of? I think it's the Preordain? Or maybe it's the Island. I guess Island beats Wasteland and Underground Sea doesn't. So let's pass. So next turn we have Tinker with Fluster backup. Okay, so they get a draw step dredge here. Interesting. They are not main phase activating Bazaar. I find that to be really weird. Grab Tinker. Draw. Play the Tinker. Well, play the Mox. Or Mana Crypt. Words are difficult, forgive me. And then I think we put it on the stack. The question is, do I get, assuming that this resolves, do I get Sphinx or do I get Citadel? Alright, so we know that they have Stinkweed and one unknown in hand. Tinker? And I think we get the Sphinx because I have Tabernacle already to beat Bridge from Below. Okay. So we're going to get Cabal Therapy a whole bunch here. Okay. They have Creeping Chills in their deck. So I'm glad I boarded out the Breach package. So they have one therapy. Let's see what they name. They don't actually have another therapy. Soul Guide Lantern. No dice. And our opponent conceded. Tabernacle way too strong. We got there. We're now 4-2 with 2 rounds left to go. Hey, you're still watching. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. If you're looking to make a purchase from Card Hoarder, TCG Player, or Amazon and are looking to support us, you can open up our description down below, and in there you will find our affiliate links. Those same links are found on the homepage of the Epic Storm. But that's not all. We've included a Card Hoarder button on our website that will load the Epic Storm in your Card Hoarder cart to make life simple for you. Match 7. We're on the play, and our opponent's history has a lot, and I mean a lot, of Paradoxical Outcome in it, so I'm going to assume they're on that. So here we have Turn 1 Time Walk. We're lacking a black source for this Demonic Tutor, but if we draw one, we can Demonic Tutor for Tinker while having Flusterstorm up. It's pretty interesting to me. I think this is worth keeping. Okay, so let's just play that Time Walk like I mentioned. Okay, so Time Walk resolves. And now we're hoping to draw into like an Underground Sea or a Mox Jet. Alright, I won the flip. Another Fluster. Okay, I'm not going to complain about Fluster number 2, but we would like to draw a black source. Mox Emerald. Sure thing. Okay, Mana Crypt again. Tails. Never fails. Draw. Okay. Still would like to draw that black source. And the opponent's going to spin top here. Scalding Turn and passing from the opponent. Come on, Black Lotus. I'm just going to get greedy now. I'm not going to ask for the average draw. I'm going to ask for the best one because we're not hitting those, so... No! Oh, jeez. Alright, well, I guess I can just Demonic directly for Black Lotus now. I guess that becomes the game plan. Alright, so they're going to Brainstorm Fetch here and then top again, I would guess. No, they're keeping. Wow. Okay. Come on, deck. Give me Black Lotus, please. Black Lotus. I mean, 1 in 50, the odds are in her favor. That's how this works, right? Okay, come on. I'll take my own Brainstorm. They're misstepping it. That's interesting. I could, like, fluster it twice. I don't think that's actually worth it. We're going to let it go. I guess we could also just draw into Underworld Breach and then we brain freeze ourselves. They're going to bounce my Manifold Crypt. Okay. Seems a little bit odd, but that's fine. Maybe they're like trying to play around Hull Breacher or something. Which is fair. I'm not just saying that's like a bad play. It's pretty reasonable to say, hey, I don't want to lose to Hull Breacher. But our draws so far have not been very good. I felt like we were really far ahead early and then just have lost that. They've gotten a lot of card equity through top this game where we have not. Alright, and these flusters are slowly becoming dead. Draw. And we have to pass here. We're going to start dying to these constructs. Yep. I think we just fluster this. Otherwise, we have to discard. And we don't... Double fluster is no longer relevant, I think. I could be wrong, but... Now that we have the Pyroblast, it seems reasonable. Alright, so they're making a construct, and I think we're off the Citadel plan, and now we're looking at potentially winning with this Brain Freeze. Our best draws are Lotus Petal or Black Lotus. Alright, so that's resolved, and they got Mana Vault off the Saga. So we're going to take 6 here, going down to 11. They have lethal on board, so we need to draw something this turn. Which means we would have had 5 draw steps to potentially draw into a black source, and, you know. We'll let them have that. I can't shut myself off of Breach here. Draw. That's a shame. Okay, so that was obviously a nightmare. That did not go very well, but there's still 2 more games left. Let's try to win those. Okay, so you want the fluster. Probably just take out the Sphinx. Like, Hercules is still fine in answering constructs. I just need to draw better. Bolt's honestly a little bit underwhelming. You could probably board in a Hercules instead of the Bolt. Let's try this out. Game 2, we're on the play again. Sure, we'll keep this. Alright, Mox Emerald. Black Lotus. Saga. We're not going to sacrifice the Lotus. I want this Lotus to represent us having something. I don't think it's really worth it to just start tapping out. Alright, so they have a top. Okay. Draw. Vampiric Tutor. Alright, I'm going to sit on the Vamp for now. They're going to spin top. I'm just posturing right now. I want the value off the Saga. Maybe that's not the best choice, but I don't think our opponent's going to jam into a bunch of open mana. Alright, and let's make a construct. They're going to spin top. And they have repeal, okay. Draw. Fluster, okay. Let's make another construct. And search. So I could get Needle here and just shut down their top. I feel like that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm just going to pass. I can vamp on their end step. Their own Urza Saga, okay. 4 cards in the opponent's hand right now. Grab that Underground Sea. And Vampiric Tutor. Flusters. I'm going to let that go. I don't think that this is worth fighting over. I don't want to sacrifice my Lotus for this. Not the end of the world. Draw. Okay, let's ponder. Time Vault. Like, it's cool that Time Vault's here, but we can't do anything with any of this. I'm just going to shuffle. And let's get in there for 4. I'm going to hold open Pyro plus this other stuff for now. I can preordain next turn off the Underground Sea. I think I'm actually going to counter this Probe. They don't get to know it's in my hand. 2 cards in our opponent's hand. Soul Ring. So let's play that. That's going to turn our construct into a 5/5. Preordain. Tinker with double backup. Okay. And let's cast that Tinker card. I think I'd rather have Soul Ring than a Mox Emerald. They have a Force in hand, but they undid it. I saw their life total move. Pitching Paradoxical Outcome. So that just confirms that they're on Outcome. Like, we already knew it, but doesn't really matter. Alright, so our opponent is unable to pay 5 here. And now we get to put Citadel onto the table. It's worth noting I do have a Needle on top, so we cannot search up top and just win the game. I'm going to fetch here. Okay, Mox Sapphire, and unfortunately we reveal the land. So now the question is, do I even bother attacking, or do I preserve my life total? Because our opponent can make a 5/5 on their turn. I'm going to attack. We'll be fine. So here they're going to make a 3/3 on their upkeep. It will be they'll make another. It'll be a 4/4. Then they get to search for an artifact, and that will be 5. Yep. Key. Okay, so 6/6. That's pretty scary. So I'm going to 12 here. All right. We're gonna need some good cards off the top. Draw. That is in fact a good one. Target ourselves. I'll take my own key, thank you. And probe, targeting them, doesn't really matter. Draw the Force. Timehawk, thank you, down to 7. Let's slide this over a little bit. Mox Pearl. We can Mystical here for Demonic Tutor. And the Tutor puts me to 4, but I get to go get Time Vault. That wins the game. Undo. Vault. And take an extra turn. Our opponent concedes. Alright, game 3 coming up. I'm just going to submit. So I don't mind having Hercules in our deck. So I know that I boarded them in for the constructs, but now knowing that they're PO, we can use Hercules to counter an outcome as well. But I don't think you really want a bunch of them. This hand's good. Very good. Just missing a counter spell. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Come on, Fluster off the top. Saga. Okay, so I can play Key here. Untap. And then do I just jam Tinker? I feel like part of me is like, yes, because if I do, that means next turn I can Tinker again. If I sack the Key. Do you have it? Looks like they... Oh, they're digging for force. Tinker? Tinker! Okay, so... we could, in theory, get Time Vault here, and then go Lotus Breach. But then we're 1 mana short. I think we should just get the Citadel. I'll take a Fluster. Yeah, I should pass here. They're chopping in their main phase. Ancestral Recall. I'm going to Fluster Storm that. Same targets. And our opponent concedes, so we are now 5-2 with 1 match left to go. If you're looking for more great Magic the Gathering content, definitely check out the Eternal Glory podcast. It is myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher. We primarily discuss Legacy. That said, a lot of what we talk about transcends all formats. We're available on all major podcast platforms. All right, the 8th and final round. I was in 22nd place coming into this round. There's going to be X2s that make it into top 8. It will not be me. I will be lucky to make top 16. But here we've opened up a turn 1 Tinker with Pyroblast backup. I have no clue what our opponent's playing, but I'm going to keep this. Okay, 6 cards. Verdant Catacombs. Bayou. Deathrite. So it's either Bug Midrange or it's Hogak. I'm not really sure which. And I played the land. I know you're not supposed to play the land if you're planning on putting Citadel into play, but I mean, I could also just like put Sphinx onto the battlefield and say good luck. All right, I'm going to use the red. If they make me fetch for Volk, it's not the end of the world. All right, let's grab our Citadel and Brainstorm. I'm going to put 2 spells back on top that I can cast, so that way I'm not shuffling in spells that are going to make me fizzle. So if I get... Actually, that doesn't work. I can get top, though. All right, we'll play Narset, why not? And then use Narset. Grab a Probe. Mystical's pretty good. Let's go grab Time Lock. And our opponent's had enough, so that's game number 1. Okay, 1 more game. That's all we need here. Get that nice 75% match win percentage. All right, so sorry about that. Hitting puberty first time, you know how it is. So I think that they're on Hogak. I don't know why. It's just this feeling that I have. So I'm going to board like they're on Hogak and not Bug. All right, so getting rid of the Pyroblasts. We could probably get rid of the Narset. Take out the Citadel, I guess. 64. And I think, once again, I'm taking out the Breach plan. I think that's just like the right thing to do here. Question is, do I really want 3 Fluster for Force of Vigor? And I think the answer is no. And instead, I'm going to keep the Lotus Petal. And if I'm wrong, we can always reboard for game number 3. Well, if we're facing Hogak, this hand is very good. Keep. Vern again. Bayou. Deathrite. So no information yet. Draw. I'm going to hold the needle for now. Let's see what they do with the Deathrite. They're paying for it. They might want it for the color fixing. Mox Jet. Yeah, and they're just passing. Draw. Okay, I'm gonna play the Pearl out. So I could name Death right here, but I don't know if I actually want to do that. I feel like I'm going to name Bazaar. Besaged my... So they're definitely on, what is it called? Hogak. And honestly, I think that was a pretty good exchange for me. Like, I would have rather have had a volcanic island than that tabernacle. We'll name Bazaar. And then I'm going to Merchant Scroll for Ancestral Recall. You could get Mystical Tutor. I don't care. That's fine. But you could have gotten Mystical Tutor for Tinker. I don't think that's like that good of a line. Cycling Hollow One, sure. Looks like they're a little tight on mana here. So Saga is going to go up to 2. Are they thinking about a Force of Vigor here? Pitching Deathrite. I'm going to force pitching the Brainstorm. Ponder's better right now because we don't have a guaranteed shuffle effect. Draw. Okay. So I could kill the Deathrite, or I can hold this bolt open for an oof. And I don't know how much this actually matters. So here we have Mystical, which could in theory allow me to Tinker next turn. I think we take that. When it still has 2 cards in hand. If I thought they were Hogak, why didn't I board a Needle? I mean, I got lucky and I drew the 1-up, but I'm just realizing that I didn't board in the other Needles. It's been a day, forgive me. No real excuse for that either. Because, like, I think I normally board a Needle against Bug as well. So it's sort of strange that I didn't do it. Because I put them on both decks that they could have been, I just didn't side it in. Okay, so I draw and then search. So I'm going to go get Tinker now. They have messed up. Okay. Let's make another construct. I think we just get top here. All right, we have a couple of huge constructs. Get in there. All right, so they're taking 7 down to 10. This looks like a Hogak. And there it is. They have 1 card left in hand. Spin top. So we just have lethal with the bolt. I don't know if it really matters the order that we keep these, but I'll just draw Preordain, it's fine. Alright, so we'll cast Preordain. And just to play around like a potential removal spell or another Besage, I guess another Besage would be a nightmare here. Because I'd be swinging into losing the game. So let's see if I draw an artifact. I do not. Let's spin top. None of these really do anything. All right, let's attack. So they'll take 3 and then lightning bolt. Well, the Deathrite's tapped because they can't gain life with the Deathrite. If I waited till their upkeep, they could gain life by exiling this. So we went 6 and 2. Let me update my record real quick. All right, so 6-2 is a like you can't be upset with a 75% win percentage, but this is the deck list that we played today. Honestly, I'd probably run back the same 75. The 2 losses were to the White Weenie, basically vintage Death and Taxes deck, and then to getting vintaged. So it happens. I'm not too upset with this. Like, I think this was a fine performance. I'm sure I didn't play perfectly. Like, I definitely messed up that one game where I vamped or should have vamped, or you know what I mean? But I feel like I played okay, especially since I haven't played vintage in a while. People don't watch the vintage videos, so I don't record them as often as I'd like to. So I felt pretty rusty playing this today, but hopefully you still found it informative and fun and entertaining. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, take care, and have a great day. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.